everybody. We're all here, and we have met for the appointed time, here too. So I guess at this time I'll call the July 14th meeting of the West Memphis Utility Commission to order. First item on the agenda is approve the minutes from the June 9th meeting. You should have a copy in your packet. Anybody have any comments or questions or concerns, or would like to offer a motion?
Make a motion, we approve then.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. I didn't hear who it was. You get it, Daniel?
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comment, questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Next item up is June safety report. That's going to be the safety.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Okay, in June, we had 2 recordables. One of them resulted in a lost time day, so we had to hit restart on our record that we had run from October 2019 through the end of May 2022. We accumulated 952 days without lost time. But we start back over again. That's a pretty good record. The other one was due to an injection light we reported, another 2. So we're back at 39 days now and counting without lost time injury for those days, and 28 since last quarter. Year to date, we're at 3. Of course, the more injuries we got, middle of the year, our incident rate's going to be up there pretty high, 8.4, and then we add in additional hours up to today's day, and we're down to 7.8. So it all revolves around not having any more incidents and getting more hours accumulated to get that down by the end of the year. The June training, May we started out with awareness of heat illnesses, and then went on into June with the importance of water. And just to touch on a couple of things there on the bullets, 2% drop in water level in your body can spur problems with short-term memory. And that water regulates the cooling system of our body. So I've always been told you get about 2% dehydrated and it's hard to come back from it. So it's important to keep stressing to our employees to remain hydrated and drinking plenty of water, and that equates to about at least 4 bottles of 16.9 ounce water, which I think is a regular bottle. And to kind of regulate where you're at with your urine as an indicator, looking at the color, if you're clear or pale and you're going to the restroom regularly, you're probably hydrated. Dark and less frequent, you probably need to drink more water. So we've had some really hot days, and we've been really fortunate that we've not had any issues with any of that. So just reinforcing and continuing to bring that up for the summer is probably going to help us out. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you, sir. Next on item on the agenda is personnel update.
All right, okay, but just also with the heat, that week we had the extreme temperatures where it felt like above 110 degrees. Actually, the last day of that week, the outside personnel came in at 6 o'clock and worked until 3. And we also, prior to that, we were stressing the importance of getting in here, getting your work done first thing in the morning, and then in the afternoon doing other work unless it was emergency work, just during those extreme temperatures to try to help make sure that we didn't have any heat-related illnesses in this time frame. Because again, those outside guys, they're not in shorts, they're in long sleeves, long pants out there. So I think it's, again, just very important that we take that into consideration. On the personnel update, just as y'all can see, we continue to have an increase in our hiring, and we haven't lost any positions for a while. We were able to hire 2 water employees. We are continuing to get applications, and I'm forwarding those to the hiring supervisors, Michael Lamb for water and Mike Downing for electric. We continue to get those in. It's just a matter of making sure we find the right fit for those departments and finding the right people. So hopefully over time we'll be able to get some of those. We've hired 2 young men into the water department, Brian Caesar and Terrius Matthews. And Terrius Matthews, believe it or not, he already has his CDL Class A license. He wasn't over the road truck driver. He's gotten a family now and is wanting to settle and stay at home more, so he's joined our organization. And Brian is a very young man, not out of school too long, so these are folks that Michael Lamb and Andrew Bass both interviewed and felt would be a good fit for the department. And again, so as we continue to get those departments staffed up and to a level, I think we're seeing, like I said, as people are hearing about the salary capability within the utility department, we're getting more and more applications into those areas. So the word's getting out. Any questions about that?
It's painful.
That's right. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, sir. Item number 4, approval of bids for 500,000 gallon concrete clear wall repair.
Ward that? Yes, it is. It's actually the bid application.
We have a 500,000 gallon concrete tank located in the back of the yard here. And you have to inspect it from time to time. It's used for the water right after it gets treated. It goes into this large concrete tank. And the reason that it's there before it goes into the big logo tank is it's kind of to settle the water down, let any kind of sand that's in it drop out, and give it a chance for the chemicals to mix, the disinfectants and the fluoride to mix. So that's what the tank's for. And then it goes through the tank, it's pumped out and pumped in either directly into the distribution system for use. But anyway, it has to be inspected. It's in need of some repair, and we've bid it out. We had a lot of interest in it. We had bidders drop out one by one. Some of them saying that they had too much work, they couldn't do it. We had several that came for site visits, and unfortunately they dropped out. Anyway, we got 2 good bids. We both are already doing work in Arkansas, they're nearby, and we recommend accepting the bid number 6, the low bid. They meet all the requirements, and the plan is to start to work this fall when the water demand drops, because the tank's going to be out of commission for about 2 months. With that, I'd like to ask your approval for a bid award to number 6.
All righty, we have a recommendation for anybody that wants to make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Yeah.
Brown. Do I have a second? Oh, I didn't hear that. Thank you. I'm just looking around like I got the wrong pair of glasses on this morning. So we have a motion and a second to approve the bid number 6 from Mongan Painting for $267,000 even.
That's a good difference.
I beg pardon?
That's a good difference.
Well, I was going to say,
I don't know,
30% maybe. So you said the idea was to do this in the fall when demand goes down.
Yes.
How do you treat water when that tank is not in service?
It goes into the logo tank.
You have a backup.
We have a backup, yes, about
It's
that.
just smaller.
Well, between the two of them, we have 1 million gallons of storage here on site. So when the water usage drops, you just feel safer. And, you know, you think, well, why not do it in December, or January, or February? Well, 2 Februaries ago, when it got so cold, and we had water mains burst, our customers weren't using the water, but it was, you know, we were chasing it all over the city. So just looking back at our historical usage, this looks to be the safest time to do this.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Non-payment, number 6 bid, $67,000.
All right, thank you. And then I passed out this little flyer, and it's just, it's for the, we're gonna make one change to it before it goes out. We're gonna add, it's for the Lakes of Richmond subdivision. We will be, our contractor will be doing the bore under Broadway for the force main project that's running from the pump station up by Walmart back down to the pump station at the end of Avalon. That work will start later, but we wanted to get the boring done under Broadway right now while the river's down, because it's going to require a very deep pit. And when the river's up, the pit will fill up with river water. And so it's perfect time right now to get in there and get it done. So the residents there are keeping an eye on things, and we just want to let them know that, you know, we're going to take care of their property there and let them know what's going on, because they would be calling up here otherwise. So it's just for your information. And then we'll be doing a similar bore up at Barton by the old fire station, just off of Rich Road. And Nick Coulter's going to work with us to publish. That neighborhood's not so well defined that we're going to publicize that through Facebook and the other ways that Nick. So anyway, he says this is for information. If you have any questions, we have to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Do you have a question?
No, I said it looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Nick did that for us.
All right, next up on the agenda is approval of bids for power transformers. I think we have that.
Yeah, I passed out a letter of recommendation from our engineering consultant. So this is the tabulation sheet. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background of what happened. Oh yeah, I'm Peyton Smith. I'm sorry, I'm Peyton Smith. I presented one of
Just to make sure.
electrical engineer. So a little bit of background. Back in April, we had a lightning strike hit our substation at Hudson, and it took out one of our big transformers. So during the past couple months, we've been working on getting bids in to replace it. Here's the bid tabulation. You see you have Virginia transformer at $1,708,751. That's the bid that we want to go with. The reason being is that they have a shorter lead time. It's only at 40 weeks, where the lowest bid is at 48 weeks. Also, secondly, they have a better loss factor, so they're going to give us a more efficient transformer than the lowest bid. And then lastly, we had them put in a liquidated damages up to $2,000 per day if they miss the delivery date. And if that ends up being the date that the low bid would be, then it would basically be a wash. It would be the same amount of money, because they'd be paying us $2,000 a day for a mistake. And then the biggest thing, I think, is if we went with this one, we would beat our peak next year. And if we lose the other transformer at the substation, then we'll be not in a good situation. So, like I said, when I came in, I passed out the letter of recommendation. This is from Fisher Arnold. it's a consultant engineer. They've worked with Virginia Transformer, and I believe he said they've never missed a deadline working with them, so.
Just to again reiterate, whenever we first put this out, because of how important this substation is to this city, if we lose that other transformer right now, I don't know if we can serve the city. That's a scary situation. When we're hitting peak, the other 3 transformers in the city cannot carry the load of the city. So we would have to quickly bring in some type of mobile unit to go and run the city. And we've made those precautionary arrangements that if that does happen, we're ready to get something in here, okay? But during the RFP, we expressed that your bid will be not only price, but also delivery time. We specified that would be taken in consideration, okay? When you're doing transformers this size, you do take into account, you evaluate it based on losses. In other words, if one and what that means is if one has a better loss factor than the other, while it's sitting there transforming that electricity from 161,000 volts down to 13,800 volts, it doesn't lose as much. The efficiency of it is better, so it actually does not cost us as much money on operating expenses over time. So it actually saves us money by having a higher efficient transformer. So when we got the one where they said, hey, we can deliver this thing in 40 weeks, and at first they said 40 to 48, we went back to them and said, can you give us an exact date? Because 40 to 48 is too broad range. They are going to confirm in their contract 40 weeks. Okay, and then that's where Peyton talked about the liquidated damages. We said, okay, if you can't make this, we also want this amount. We raised the liquidated damages from originally, we asked them for a variance on what they originally proposed of $500 a day. We said $2,000 a day. So we did that, and if they miss that delivery date, it's going to end up, if they miss it to where it's at the same time as the other, it's actually going to end up being a wash and we make the same amount of money. That's why we're wanting to go with this. And as he said at the very end, this will be delivered May 5th of next year. So I think that's a big deal. Because as y'all know, right now is my major concern. Yeah. The quicker we can get that thing in here, the better off we are.
So you said delivery. Who's responsible for installation?
It'll be them.
Is that part of it?
I mean, once it gets here, it comes in pieces, believe it or not. It is one big box, but then they got fins and they'll put it all together. And it's just hooking the wires to the connectors. And then it's ready to go.
So that's the delivery date is?
Yes,
is
May
the
5th.
Operational date.
Well, I'm not gonna say, you saw the text message. There's some clarification. I know, I got a text message while we were sitting here. That the engineer shows it shipped May 5th. He misread that, and we will get a new letter stating that it delivered May 5th. So I got a text from the engineer while we were sitting here kind of talking. It started through the meeting. You know, we just opened the bids last week, so they're sitting there going through these things, having to evaluate them within a week. And the urgency of this is why we're trying to get it. And we originally had the bids being opened at the previous council meeting, but the transformer companies asked if they could push it back, and we were like, okay. Then it was on our engineer to have a shorter time frame to do the evaluation. So it's like, okay, you're the guy who's going to be having a shorter time frame.
So you said you had a contingency plan in case the other one goes out. How long would it take to enact that?
It probably will take a good 24 hours.
Within a day or two?
Yes. Yes.
And what kind of expense is that?
That's, yeah.
Is it
It depends on,
Diesel powered?
I've got two contingencies, one of them, depending on when it is, during the time of the year, it's because they're already providing me power, that'll come up after the fact. That's the benefit of us buying power from, one of the largest energy providers in the country.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so we have a recommendation and a request. We have a motion. You know what the motion is for?
Yes, yeah.
It's the 3A is what we want to go with. If you can see, they actually bid twice.
Yeah.
One of them is if they actually said, oh, we'll provide it at this price, but they said, 60 to 65 weeks for that price. It's 1.763, 286,000 is the 40 to 48 weeks. They said, oh, well, if for an extra 60,000, we can push and put you into an empty slot.
So I'm looking at 3A and 2. So give me again the difference in what you were able to see in 2 and 3.
Okay.
3A.
In losses,
Yeah, Howard Industries.
okay, you can see that it's about $300,000 in capital cost
In 48.
in physical cost. The Howard Industries is a 48-week delivery time. The Virginia Transformer is a 40-week delivery time.
Okay, so the 40 to 48,
Yes.
are you giving them to 48?
No.
They're going to do
In
40?
the contract, that's one of the things we went and clarified, is we said, what about the 40 week? And in contract, it will state 40 weeks.
Okay.
It'll be May 5th. It will not be 40 to 48. It is 40. After the 40 weeks is when they will be, after May 5th, they will start incurring liquidated damages. That is the 40 weeks.
And then the other issue is the efficiency.
Correct. And that's on the
Number
losses.
2 transformer costs more money to operate than number 3.
That's correct. And that evaluation,
19.65 versus the 19.5.
and we can get you a copy of that loss calculation if you want.
Costs more money up front, but in the long term, it's going to pay for itself because it's more efficient.
That's correct.
Plus, it's faster. To avoid potential catastrophe in May, June, July.
Correct.
Transfer back.
It keeps me from having to go through another summer. Because that's 2 months.
So how close are we right now?
Huh?
How close are we right now?
On what?
Keeping up?
Oh, we got plenty of capacity right now.
It's just the issue if you lose the one down there.
Yeah, I mean,
So this
again,
is kind of a redundancy.
right, that station over there, our total city peak is around 85 megawatts. Those two transformers over there together are 100 megawatts. So truthfully, if those two transformers, with them sitting there, I could feed the whole city out of that whole substation. The wires can't handle that completely, but at this time, but realistically, I could lose all 3 other substations, and with the capacity capability of those 2 transformers that were sitting there, I could run the city out of that facility. With losing one, I still got plenty of capacity. Losing some of the smaller ones, I'm still okay because I got still this big transformer. It's that one single transformer sitting there. And we've actually, again, we've ran tests on that other transformer. We pulled samples on that, oil samples on that other transformer, and everything looks good on it. Don't see any issues, but Mother Nature and, we never know.
With this one either, but.
That's exactly right. So again, that's why, in my opinion, essence of the time is very important. And I think making up the difference is the liquidated damages, that basically they're putting that, hey, if we don't miss it, you're going to end up getting it for basically the same price with the lost capacity in it.
So one more question. How does the the efficiency of this transformer compared to the one that's.
Does it have the numbers on that spreadsheet? Yeah, are they on there? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I have it on that.
That's a low gloss, KW. Pennsylvania actually was, I think it's 19.5 to 19.65 difference. It's not much, but it's still, when you start to look at the amount of energy flowing through
Over
this.
time.
Over the whole city, again.
So it is more efficient than what we
Yes.
have.
Correct.
Thank you.
It's just, I guess the little will end up with a big saving.
Yes, that's it. A little bit of difference is because of the quantity, the amount, I mean, different, not analogy a little bit, is sort of like the Walmart, just make a little bit of money on selling a bunch, It's the same thing. If I have a bunch of electricity flowing through that thing, it's going to save me money over time. Because it's serving, when it's in, it's going to be serving a fifth of the city.
The return on investment is good.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is, because there's no way of knowing for sure. But efficiency is good. Okay. So we have a recommendation to accept the Virginia Transformer Company transformer replacement bid of $1,763,286. Do we have a motion to accept that recommendation?
I make a motion that we accept the bid at 3A from Virginia Transformer.
We have a motion, and I guess Ms. Brown seconded. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.
Hurry up.
Before you move on to the next one, the employee who the employee that we were going to recognize is on vacation this week, so if we can we delay this till next month? Because I really would like for the employee to have the opportunity to be here while we do this.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite parts of the whole.
Yeah, I agree. I think having them here and recognizing them face to face for that is more than just verbally doing it.
Anything else to come before us?
Only one thing,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to give recognition to the administrative assistant for assisting us in going to the conference. She covered everything, so we need to applaud her. Everything.
And I will say this, it was a headache because as well as the hotel is recognized, they made a lot of mistakes and stuff. She had to.
She cleared them up.
Yes, I agree. I was like, she was coming to ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know, call them.
Yeah.
They made a lot of billing issues.
And I don't know if I can go to Seattle, somebody needs to go from this board.
I would say, the three that win, Ms. Brown's the only one that's here. What did you think of the conference? I mean, was it very informational, informative?
It was, and a lot of it was new for me, so I'm having to process it and try to use it up here. But it was really good, but
Good.
being the first one, I want to encourage all of you to go. And go to Seattle.
That's where it is next year, is in Seattle. They have, like I said, it is a national conference where they are, there's folks from all over the country, California to the Northeast. I mean, probably the furthest, I think, is, believe it or not, the island of Guam is a American public power city. And there's folks there from Guam attending this session, and some of their board members, and you see what others are doing. One of the benefits, I think, majorly of it is because there are such, like Los Angeles is a public power city. So when you have cities like that, Austin, Texas, a public power city, and then you have, we're, believe it or not, probably middle of the road size of a lot of, because you have the extremely large and then you have some very small. So I think for us, you see what the others are doing innovation-wise and what they're doing in their cities, and maybe learn something that can maybe help you in your city and helping progress your city. And so let them kind of plow the grounds for you instead of you being the one that, being the innovator or the, you know, the one that has to go through all the trial and error and potentially issues. Let them work the issues out, and then you know, it's one of the, I like going just because of that reason. You're able to learn something continually from each meeting. You pick something up that you can bring back that helps the citizens. I think it's important. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Yes,
Very appropriate, I feel.
big asset.
All right, nothing else come before us? We have a motion to adjourn.
So,
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Adjourn. Thank you all for coming.